In other news, U.S. and Iranian officials have made significant progress in a third round of indirect nuclear talks in Geneva. That's according to the foreign minister of Oman, which is acting as a mediator. The foreign minister will now travel to Washington to meet with the U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance. Iran's foreign minister Abbas Araghchi says the negotiations have been the longest and most serious yet. He says differences remain, but that the sides discussed elements of an agreement on Tehran's nuclear program and the easing of sanctions. Now delegations will go back to consult with their governments. Technical teams are scheduled to meet in Austria next week. Washington and Tehran have said they want a diplomatic solution to avert a full-scale military conflict. U.S. President Donald Trump has maintained the threat of possible strikes against Iran unless it agrees to a deal. Now, as talks were underway in Geneva, the U.S. moved more of its military assets closer to the Middle East. The USS Gerald Ford, the world's largest aircraft carrier, left the Greek island of Crete on Thursday and is heading east. Another aircraft carrier group has already been deployed near the Gulf of Oman. Washington has also sent more than 300 U.S. military aircraft to the region. Let's bring in Al Jazeera's Tohid Asadi in Tehran now for more. Tohid, so Oman's foreign minister says there's been significant progress in the talks in Geneva. What's the political mood in Tehran?
Well, indeed, we can say that Iran's positioning, specifically following the talks in Geneva yesterday, is based upon a sort of cautious and calibrated optimism and a sort of pragmatism that we see there as a matter of fact when it comes to the statements that we hear from the Iranian side, specifically Iranian foreign minister, who, following the talks between the two sides, came out to say that based on his assessment, progress has been made, and we are expecting at least two rounds of talks, one in Vienna, which is set to be held on Monday, and the conversation there is going to be on the technicalities, and the UN nuclear watchdog IAEA is going to host those talks. And on that, we also know that the IAEA's Director General Rafael Grossi was also involved, in addition to Omani Foreign Minister, in the indirect talks between Iran and the United States that took place yesterday. And also, we know that there is this possibility of military confrontation, specifically following the major military buildup by the Americans in the region. And on that, just ahead of the talks, we've got the foreign minister saying that the country is ready for both scenarios, just an indicative of the same actually rhetoric that we have been hearing from Iran, based on an oscillation between confrontation on the one hand and engagement on the other, while Foreign Minister Araghchi says that what tops the list of priorities is diplomacy rather than war, as the controversies related to the nuclear dossier of the country could be solved, according to him, not by military option, but by diplomatic engagement. All in all, this is a delicate situation highlighted by several contextual elements. First, this is a very complicated issue, and there are several actors and factors, not just when it comes to the nuclear dossier, in which we have serious issues such as a stockpile of enriched uranium, as well as the entire process of enrichment and the inspections, but also other controversial issues between Iran and the United States that for the time being remain off the table. And added to that is the cloud of uncertainty that is putting a certain amount of impact on the talks between the two sides.
Some very complex negotiations, no doubt. Tohid Asadi in Tehran, thank you.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.